Okay, I'm just gonna take a look down here at the shuttle clutch. I've been curious about what kind of condition it's in. I'll get those bolts out of there. Give the cover a little tap. Okay. Dirt out of there. Now, let's see what we got. The dipstick's okay. I was able to turn it past. The cover looks okay. It looks like it's in pretty good shape down in there. So you can see your clutch packs here, see? Yeah, it looks in pretty good shape. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna turn the engine over. That's about 1 revolution of the engine. Okay, so I put a little bit of Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer on the top surfaces of the clutch. Everything looks fine in there. I was able to move the steels back and forth a little bit just to see if they're freed up, and they're not jammed at all. They're all everything's free. Same on the other side. Okay, so just getting this old gasket off of here. Okay, so I got that all cleaned up. I made up a new gasket. And we're just going to clean up the cover. Just wipe this out a bit and we'll put that on. Okay, so I got the cover cleaned up. And we're just going to sit that down in there. And this bolt here is 12 point. Okay. And that's how that goes. Well, I figure while I'm here, I'm going to take a look inside the gearbox cover too. All right, just about ready. Okay. Okay. A little bit of rust there on the top of that gear. That's pretty good. Not too bad, considering that's been sitting for years. Yeah, that gear oil's good. That one's got a little corrosion on it, probably from a leak in the gasket. Oh yeah, look at that. There's a missing part of the gasket right there. Huh. Okay. I'm going to clean that up. And I'm going to make a new gasket for this. That looks pretty good. Huh. Not bad at all. Considering it's set for 15 years or more. That could have just as easily been a rusty mess. That looks good actually. I can tidy that up. The worst is right there on the top. Okay, so I put some paper towel in here to hold any little chips from going further down into the gear train. Let's go see if I can clean that up a bit. I don't think it's too bad. Okay, so I got everything cleaned up. I cleaned up the gasket surface on the cover, and I made a new gasket, and I cleaned up the surface beneath the gasket, and I got those gears cleaned up. Okay, so you can see I got those teeth cleaned up pretty good in there. I think that's going to be fine. I think once that turns a bit and engages the other gears a bit, you know, in oil, it's going to be fine. I don't think there's anything lasting, no lasting damage there. And when I look down deeper in the gear case, I see there's a few teeth that were pointed up this way that have just a little bit of surface corrosion on them. And but overall, I'd say, you know, 99% good down in here. The gears look fine. I mean, considering this thing has sat in the bush for more than 15 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour some Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer on these gears to protect them in the interim between now and when I get everything running. Okay, so I put a bit of Lucas on here, and that'll hold it until I get back to it. And I put Lucas down in the gearbox. Okay, there's my new gasket. And we'll get the cover. And if you notice down here towards the back of the cover, there's a dowel pin. That dowel goes in this hole right here. Okay. Okay, that's all bolted down. Next one I'm going to do is this one here. It's over the final drive. Okay. There it comes. There she comes. Okay, here it comes. Okay. That looks pretty good. Yeah, there's just a little bit of flakes of rust that have come off the cover, I think, that's fallen down in there. There's a little bit of corrosion down there on that gear, but I think that'll be all right. The very bottom there. Oh, this looks good. There's the differential there. Doesn't look too bad at all. Okay, we'll clean that up a little better, and we'll make a gasket, and we'll clean up the cover, and we'll show you all that before we put it back down. Okay, I got some rags in there to keep the stuff from falling down. Now I'm going to wet down this whole gasket and scrape it off. Okay, so I got everything ground off, and now I'm going to put a good coat of paint on everything. This is a rust preventative paint, and it's what I had on hand, and it is red, as you can see. And I'm actually, right now, this surface I'm coating is the inside of the cover for the rear end for the final drive, and it was quite rusty, so this will be good. This will harden to like a gloss finish, and I don't think it's going to deteriorate in there inside the gear case. It'll protect that cover from rusting anymore. This has got rust proofing properties in it, so it's a primer and it's trem clad. It's what it's called, trem clad rust paint. Okay, that over there. just enough, I think. Look at that. I'm going to be a little short on one corner. I don't know. It might be a little short. Darn. Look at that. How am I going to do that? Okay, so before I put the cover down, I need a gasket. So when I went to make a gasket, I realized I don't have a big enough piece to cover this opening. So what I did was I made it in sections. And what I've got here is I got 3 pieces of gasket. I got one piece that goes that far, one down here, another one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some Permatex number 2 on those joints before I put the cover on. Put some there. We'll sit the ends of the gasket in it. We'll put some on top of that seam. Like that. Like that. And we'll put some over here on this seam. And we'll drop the gasket into it and we'll put some Permatex there. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, and as with the other gears, I'm just drizzling a little Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer. And like I say, that'll keep them protected until I get the tractor going. Okay, we'll just take one last peek in there before we put the cover on. Everything looks good. Gasket looks good. And we're just going to sit the cover on there and bolt it down. Yeah, the housing here sticks well out past the cover, but that's where the holes are, and that's how just how it's made. I made the gasket to fit the housing, not the cover. So what I'm going to do once I get this in, is I'm just going to trim off that excess gasket there. That's not a mistake. The gasket hasn't pulled out from under the cover. It's the full width of the casing that's there. Okay. All right, let's get these tightened down. Alright, I got it all bolted down. Just got this little bit of gasket sticking out on the edge here. The casing is wider than the cover, so I'd like to just trim that off with a knife. And yeah, there it is. See? Makes a nice neat edge. And then I'll wipe that off. I'll wipe off any of that goop. A bit of solvent here before I'm done. And off of there. Yeah. Okay, last thing to put in is this little vent right here. Got it cleaned up, and I've blown some air through it. I know I've proven that it's still working. It's passing air through. Just a little vent for the rear end. Everyone needs one of those. Everyone needs a vent for the rear end, right? And then it goes right there. And then it goes like that. And that's that. Okay, that's all together. And I've left the top off the seat for now. But we've checked all the gearing. Everything looks fine. Cleaned up a little bit of rust in there. And that's how that's done. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.